Yo, still bills, what's the deal, man? I just got back from my sister's house, man. I had to get my shit lined up, bro. I was scruffy, man. Like scruffy as a motherfucker. So, shout out to my sister Yarde, I love you dearly. And I'm heading to Texas Roadhouse right over here across the bridge in Council Bluffs for my daughter's birthday. So, this little girl be 18 in 5 days, man. That shit is sickening. I don't understand where the fuck the time went. But, you know, who does understand it? It ain't meant for us to understand. But, you know, if I have an 18-year-old and a high school graduate next year. 18-year-old in 5 days and a high school graduate next summer, man. But peep game, man, I want to talk about something, man. I just watched this interview with The Ring with Max Kellerman, Chris Arreola, and I don't know the other brother name, man. But they was interviewing Anthony Yarde. And, he said some interesting shit, man, and that's him, just David Benavidez looking ahead, like, 5 steps ahead of the fight that he's, that he has right here in front of him in the now, and I think that's, that's real compelling for bro to say, because it makes sense. Because usually when people do shit like that, that's a sign, that's a recipe for disaster, because you too focus on what fights lie ahead as opposed to what's in front of you. And I think when people give this notion that you're an underdog, and Anthony Yarde is definitely an underdog going into this fight. When you're an underdog, you're supposed to go in there and lose this fight. You're supposed to go in there and lose this fight. We just saw that with Bud and Canelo, man. They had all these plans for Canelo Alvarez, the 5-fight deal for X amount of dollars or whatever the case may be. They was more invested in Canelo than they were with Bud. The most people just thought, all right, cool, man, let's get you one big bag and you can just ride off into the sunset. And he went in there and he put on an immaculate performance. And that kind of sets them back. It's like, yo, well, how the fuck is we supposed to sell and market you now when you just went in here and you got crashed by somebody you were supposed to kind of steamroll? So I'm not saying that's exactly what's about to happen now. I'm saying what, we've seen before. And when we saw with Canelo again, he talking about going undisputed. I made a video about that. When he talking about going undisputed at 175 pounds, I'm like, you got a live dog in front of you. It's not no guarantee you gonna beat Bivol. And me personally, I'm like, you not about to beat no goddamn Bivol. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, dog. You're not beating Bivol. So it makes sense what Anthony Yarde is saying, man. It's not no foregone conclusion that you're gonna go in here and you're gonna be able to beat Anthony Yarde. It's not a foregone conclusion. It's just not. It's not. But I think the difference is, David is a lot younger than Anthony Yarde. It's not as much wear and tear on him. And Anthony Yarde has had issues in the past that, David Benavidez can be able to exploit. So it's a lot more, it's a lot more riding on David Benavidez winning this fight. And, of course, both of them are confident. But, David is he's already talking about a fight with Bivol and Better Beef and Jai and Zordalo and all that. And it's like, you really are looking over this live dog in front of you, man, because it's not no guarantee that you will win that fight. I'm sorry, man. I'm sticking to my guns. This is a 50-50 fight. And I said that with David Benavidez versus David Morrell. And it's a reason for that. I said David Benavidez will, he's going to out-experience David. He's going to out-experience David Morrell, and that's what ended up happening, man. But I had it a 50-50 fight because David Morrell, he's, as far as when a builder boxer is concerned, he's the more complete fighter. He has the better. He's a lot more competent on his feet. Sharper counter puncher. Just better technique from a technician standpoint. But I'll also say sometimes that's just not what gets you over the line. That ain't it. Sometimes you just need the grit. You need to be seasoned. You need to have gone through that fire in order to, really be able to utilize your already, the tools that you have to your advantage. And David Morrell had not been through no fire yet, bro. At that point, I mean, his best win was with Radivaya Kalajic, and you could argue that he lost that fight, or it was a draw at the very least. So I was like, he's not, experience is going to take over. And what happened? Experience took over. It just is what it is. But in this fight, you have I think Anthony Yarde is even a little bit more experienced than David Benavidez, because when I was on Luke's panel last time, they said, hey, I heard somebody say Anthony Yarde has the better resume, and I'm like, he doesn't have a better resume. He has the better fights. To me, when you say resume, that's a testament to them winning. That's a testament to their wins. Like, yo, you beat him. Now we can say you have the better resume. Resume, to me, always, it's an accommodation to a win. It's tantamount to a win. He didn't win those fights, but there's nobody on David Benavidez's resume that is more skilled, more complete, better fighters than Kovalev and Benavidez. However, there's no wins on Anthony Yarde's resume that is better than Caleb Plant or even Volstik. It just isn't. It isn't. So you look, Anthony Yarde is a proven puncher up there at 175 pounds. David ain't punching up there. He's not punching up there like that. He's used to the division. He's used to being in there with bigger punchers, bigger men. So when you look at all of you consider all of that. You consider none of these dudes are, they don't have a standout skill set between the two of them. David Benavidez has the hand speed. Anthony Yarde is the slightly better counter puncher. He's the better counter puncher. But even then, he's not like, he's not super drag out making you miss, making you pay. He's not Canelo, Bivol, Crawford, Usyk. He's not that caliber of a counter puncher, but he's a good counter puncher. He's a good counter puncher. So, they both have things that they can exploit between the two of them, especially considering Anthony Yarde has got, he's always had stamina issues. So it's from that paradigm, it's a 50-55. And, Yarde has more experience at the weight, and he's been in with the better opposition at that weight. And, I'm like, if you can deal with the power of a Kovalev and a Benavidez, you can deal with the power of a Benavidez. But Benavidez can't go in here and stop him predicated on exhaustion, fatigue. It can happen. It can definitely happen. So my point is, he's too much of a live dog for him to be thinking 3 and 4 fights ahead. And I feel him on that. It's like, bro, you really think that less of me, to where you think that you got it like that, to where you could just plan ahead 3-4 fights ahead and I'm just, okay. Because even on Nuke's platform, once again, my man KO, shout out KO Boxing 86. He's like, yo, man, he's supposed to go in here and lose. I'm like, he's actually not, bro. Like, these are the most dangerous fights. Because David ain't game plan. He doesn't have a multitude of game plans. That's not in his game. It ain't a goddamn thing wrong with that. Subriel Matias ain't got a multitude of ways he can game plan. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We know what we getting out of them. So I ain't saying it to to throw shots. I'm not saying it to to throw shots or nothing like that. But if you going in there with somebody who you have, your only game plan is to do what it is that you've been doing, and somebody has that small skill set, advantage over you, that can spell disaster. Remember, Golovkin and, Lemieux was expecting Golovkin to sit there in the pocket with him and just bang out. And he said, no, I'm going to control distance with the jab, and I'm going to have you at the mercy of my jab. And I'm going to rearrange your hair off of the jab. He wasn't expecting that. David Benavidez ain't a dude who can game plan like that. And neither is Anthony Yarde. But it's just the fact that Anthony Yarde has that slight skill set over David Benavidez. So it's, for that, it's a 50-50. Like, this is going to be a good fight, bro. This is not no fight where you can afford to plan 3 and 4 fights ahead. You can't do that in front of no Anthony Yarde. David Benavidez can't. I wouldn't tell Callum Smith to do that. I wouldn't tell Joshua Buatsi to do that. No, you don't plan 3. No, the Anthony Yarde is a top 10 opponent in the division, bro. Like, what y'all think? Y'all think that lowly of the European talent pool that y'all would just say, yo, these niggas this is easy work right here. You just finna go in here and do what you do. It's not gonna happen like that. It's not gonna happen like that. It's just not. It's not. It's not going to happen like that, man. So it's a 50-50 fight. It's a legitimate 50-50 fight. And this isn't a fight that David can just afford to say, yo, man, we got out Opataya, Zordo, Benavidez, and Bivol. They all on the chopping block. You cannot do that in front of this dude. So I feel what he was saying. You looking too far ahead. As opposed, and David is focused on this fight because he knows your whole career is on the other side of this fight. And how you perform in this fight. Me personally, David Benavidez can win a split decision, and he's getting full credit for that. Why? Because Anthony Yarde is not a trash fighter. If David Benavidez goes in there and gets a draw with Anthony Yarde, I'm giving, hey, yo, salute to you. You. That tells me that you can compete in the division. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I get a lot of fight, and I'm not. Y'all know I'm a hating ass nigga. I'm a hating ass nigga. I really am. I have no issue with saying that. But I don't think David Benavidez is a trash fighter. I just need to show, I need you to prove to everybody else and to me that you are what it is that they saying you are. And what they're saying you are is you're above your head and shoulders above the rest of the competition, not named but better be ever Bivol. And I just don't see it like that. But if you can go in there and you can draw with the likes of a David, with a Anthony Yarde, that tells me you can compete in the division. And I think you can. Win, lose, or draw, you can compete in that division, man. So I'm, I don't think this is too dangerous of a fight for you to just be planning ahead. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. You cannot plan ahead in front of this dude. It's just, that shit is not going to go, it's not going to bode well in your favor. It's not, Brody. No fighter should be doing that. Planning 3 fights ahead, bro. That's a recipe for disaster. But I, real life, cannot wait to this fight. I'm ecstatic about this fight. I really am. I really am. Ooh, damn. So that's how I'm feeling about it, man. Anthony Yarde has a right to be a little, like, what the fuck? He got a right to feel a little bit taken back by that shit, man. He does. Damn, man, this shit all fucked up. He has a right to feel a little bit taken back about all that shit, man. And he's saying he got a strength and conditioning coach, man. So that stamina may not be. Even in his last fight, man, he fought from 1 to 12, going on a hunt, letting go of punches. He's a live dog in this fight, y'all. He's a live dog in this fight. We can bank on. We can see. I can see a stoppage happening in favor of David Benavidez, but I'm not banking on it. I'm not. And that's all I got to say about it, man. I'm about to go grab me a steak right quick and go, enjoy this time with my in-laws and my daughter for her birthday, man. So I'll tap back in with y'all later, man. Y'all stay righteous until then, yo. Deuces.